Yeah, so let me just quickly introduce the panelists. First of all, we have Cedric Guyomard. He's a cybersecurity architect with Azqore in Switzerland. Cedric specializes in core banking, single sign-on, and API security. He focuses on designing and implementing security measures for e-banking, mobile banking, and core banking satellite applications. Next is Iain Scott. He's a software architect at TomTom in the Netherlands. For 10 years, he's been focusing on customer-facing identity and access management, and he actually brought in WSO2 Identity Server to TomTom around 3 years ago. Next is Ondrej Nekovar. He's an experienced professional with years of experience in the role of a CISO and director in the Czech Republic. He's focused on standard approaches to cybersecurity while applying advanced approaches such as deception, cyber counterintelligence, and active cyber defense. So that'll be an interesting perspective. In a recent role, he worked with Identity Server at a government agency. And finally, we have Kumar Subramanian, and he heads the Next Generation Gateway program at the Motion Industries business area of ABB in Helsinki. Previously, his area of responsibility was IAM. He oversees the end-to-end development and integration of hardware, firmware, and cloud connectivity solutions and leads cross-functional teams to innovate and deliver cutting-edge digital control technologies. So welcome, guys. Super happy to have you here. Very strong European-based panel to share your experiences. Just like to start out, go right down the row. Tell us about your business, who your customers are that you have identity and access management for, and what are your thoughts about IAM modernization? The theme of this whole conference is around modernization. What does modernization mean to you for IAM? Cedric?
Hi, everybody. So I'm working for Azqore. So Azqore is a company part of the group Crédit Agricole. So we are basically a core banking solution provider. Our customers are mostly, essentially, private bankers, part of the group Crédit Agricole from one side, but also external bankers from all over the world. So we are delivering e-banking and banking solution, front and back office solutions. Everything is hosted within Azqore, and in this, I'm supposed to, my job is to deal with all SSO and identity federation and everything related to API security. So regarding IAM modernization, as we discussed earlier in this room, as a bank, we are, of course, we are to be compliant with a lot of directive and so on. So we need to be at the same time, at the top of the security. It's mandatory, we don't have choice. But at the same time, we need to propose to customers a seamless experience. So for me, the modernization, it's really to be able to propose to our customers the most seamless experience. We don't want them to hear about us, but at the same time to propose the most secure experience ever. So it's quite a challenge because internally we can do it with our group customers, but when it comes to external customers, we need to deal with constraints. So the whole deal here is to be able to put the cursor in the right place.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, TomTom is a navigation company, and our core navigation is for drivers or vehicles. And we have a very wide range of customers. My focus is for the customers that buy our devices or use our mobile apps directly. So we have their actual user identities and we're managing that flow. In terms of modernization, some of those customers for me are over 20 years old in TomTom. And to a large extent, they existed and our platforms existed before there were standards that have just been discussed. So the first stage of modernization for me 10 years ago was to introduce those standards, to make sure our website uses SAML single sign-on, to make sure our devices are using OAuth, and that allowed the rest of the company to build easily on top of that and not worry about proprietary IAM work. Now, as I move on, and literally yesterday, we launched social login into the browser-based login flows. So Google and Facebook are now options alongside the username and password. And one of the complexities I've found in introducing those sort of modern approaches are our existing legacy devices can't easily adopt those approaches, and our customers on those devices don't necessarily have the tech wherewithal or a smartphone to be able to do, as was shown, the device OAuth login flow. So making sure that we can still support those older customers who haven't got the knowledge or the smartphones, while still allowing the newer customers on mobile phones to have an experience that they expect from competitors is a prime example of where we're modernizing where we can, while supporting what we still need to do as a legacy as such.
That's great. Ondrej, you can talk either about what you did in your previous role, or what you're doing today with other clients or recommending. Particularly interested in the whole idea about deception and how that works, and kind of what you maybe where deception fits into the definition of modernized IAM.
Yeah, I can tell you a lot of things, but I need to sort it out. Yeah, first of all, deception at all is about creating fake something. Yeah, it can be assets, it can be part of code, it can be decoy, it can be identity. Yeah, and if you are creating all stack of identities, fake identities, you need to manage them. And this area may sound quite simple, but it can extend your point of view to IAM and how you can use it. And if you want, I can extend your some knowledge about deception at all. You can use it, for instance, in a way of fake user, like in your to prevent or detect lateral movement. For instance, if some attacker is in your environment, the logical step is to get some user. And if you create the fake one and he touch it, you know that it's problem, it's incident, high severity incident.
It's not a false positive.
Yeah, not a false positive. Yeah, even it was touched by your internal administrator, it's still incident. Yeah, it can help you in this way. And in the other hand, you can use it for hide your real identity if you're gaining, for instance, threat intelligence. Yeah, create the fake scenario, fake identity, fake story about yourself. In this way,
Great.
you can use it.
Kumar?
Yeah, so, sorry, what was the question?
Yeah. Tell us about your business and your customers and what modernization means to you. Yeah.
So myself, I'm heading a program within ABB Motion. So Motion is one of the division of 4 main divisions in ABB. And in our division, we manufacture electrical drives, electrical motors, and we also provide digital solutions to our customers. So using the digital solution, a customer can optimize the energy efficiency, a predictive maintenance, condition-based maintenance, and we do also provide the insights, the product insights for the remote monitoring. So you can see, like we are offering quite a lot of solutions through the cloud. The biggest challenge is that we have, we are not B2C like TomTom, like a banking sector. We work on B2B. We work very closely with our OEM providers. We work very closely with our channel partners. And even if we provide a B2C, then these customers are going to be a big customers, a big players in the FCMG and FMCG and whatnot, automobile industries. So for us, we have to provide a solution that is super flexible for our customers. So first of all, they want to authenticate their users through their identity providers. they will never accept that they want to create an account in our system. So the single sign-on through an identity IDP federation is a must for our customer. This is one thing. So modernization, and that's the reason why we, 5 years back, we started a program called Customer Identity and Access Management. And using this project, our customers can integrate their identity provider to us. And by this way, they can authenticate their users. And we are providing a platform for them to manage the authorization of their own users in a self-service model. So by this way, we are leveraging the IAM to our customers. And modernization, I think we are already ahead in the modernization. Okay, we are already integrating our customers into our ecosystem. But apart from that, we want to enhance more the security, the scalability, even the user experience, much better than now. That's our target.
You're never done, that's for sure.
Exactly, yes. And also, you know, ABB is a market leader in the industrial segment, industrial automation segment. So we are in a position that we have to be the innovator, so that the companies, the smaller companies and competitors, they're following us. So we have to be the trendsetters.
Great. So Iain, you mentioned that a few years ago you replaced an incumbent IAM solution, and you went through an extensive process looking for a solution. I'm sure that you had, you know, kind of future-proofing on mind, or the need for a modernized IAM solution. So you've already done some of that. Talk to us about kind of what your criteria were back at the time, and then kind of moving forward, any future areas that you plan to get even better.
Yeah, so as was stated, I started in this space 10 years ago, and our first introduction was a very large commercial IAM vendor. And let's be brutally honest, the first reason for moving away from that vendor was cost. And WSO2 was a lot cheaper. But also, beyond that, and what we've leveraged since is the open source and the adaptability of WSO2 Identity Server. So we're a software development house. We've got lots of Java developers. We've got that expertise. So being able to read the code and actually understand what's happening is quite nice for us. Obviously not for everyone. But because it's got that open source nature, and especially with the adaptive authentication, we're able to create bespoke flows for our different user bases. So, as I say, many of these are very old customers. And when we're introducing that social login in browser, we expect a significant number of the people who use a social login have already got a TomTom account, and a certain amount of those will forget that they had a TomTom account because they created it 6 years ago and they're only coming back now. So the adaptive authentication has allowed us to call out to our account management platform, find out the real state of any account with that email address coming in from Facebook or Google, and then provision via SCIM into WSO2 exactly what we need to make that link between the social account and the TomTom account exactly as expected. And we can then make sure that the email that goes out to that customer specifies exactly what they have. And as I was saying before, our devices will almost certainly always require a password to log in. So we can tell whether that user already has a password, whether that password has been used within the last few years, or if they didn't exist at all, we know that they don't have a password at all. And our welcome email or our social login email can indicate that to the user, telling them that if you're going to use a device, please create a password, and here's a reset password link to go and do it immediately. But yeah, all of that was scripted and coded within the adaptive authentication of WSO2, so we can make sure before the login completes, we've definitely got the state that we want, and we can ensure the customer gets the best experience from our platforms.
That's great. And so was talking to you last night at the cocktail reception, and And Iain was drinking coffee because they did their social media launch at 4 a.m. Yesterday. You mentioned that even though you really didn't advertise this launch, there was a great uptick right away in social media logins.
Yeah, so like somewhere between 5 and 10% of all of our website logins over the last 48 hours have been via a social profile.
That's great.
And yeah, that's literally by people who've turned up at our website and seen that that's an option. We didn't broadcast it, we didn't market it, but it's still been that successful overnight.
Awesome. And Cedric, you know, your bank customers are pretty sophisticated. You deal with, you know, B2B functionality. Kind of what areas do you see them wanting or that you want to do in terms of kind of more modern approach to IAM?
Well, as I was explaining earlier, we have two kinds of customers. We have the group customers, so the bankers from the group, and for those bankers, it's pretty it's pretty easy for us because we are driving the evolution. So we are bringing the standards, we are pushing for the adopting new models and so on, and we can go quite far. So we discuss about the seamless experience, and something that probably people know that when you go to banking system, it's pretty rare that one single user has only one profile. Most of the time they come with like advisor profile, Subramanian profile, somehow. Mm-hmm. In our case, we have like sometimes people with 20, 30 profiles coming from different sites, coming from different roles. And in terms of pushing far and modernizing with the groups, banks, it was quite interesting because we managed, thanks to adaptive authentication, and to be honest, thanks to the support of the WSO2, we are able to create some specific Java function based on JavaScript function, on adaptive authentication script based on Java custom function, to be able to create a really extensive SSO experience. So when the user is basically logging through basically identity federation, it comes back and is prompted for a different profile to log in, making the SSO fully SSO experience, and we got a really huge return getting that. So it's extremely interesting. But on the other side, we have the other clients, the external banks, and lately we are supposed to propose a full kind of e-banking authentication mechanism, and we came, okay, so let's make it standard with like first temporary password that will be asked to renewed, and after that you will like QR code to use for Google Authenticator and so on. And then the client said, okay, sorry, but we cannot do that because our client, they are not that aware about technology. So can you please just send an SMS OTP? So okay, we say we don't really want to do that. Are you sure? Can we propose something better? Okay, you can do email OTP. So okay, so from one side, you know, we have to deal with the constraint, the psychological constraint of the customers. And on the other side, you need to be as smart as you can. So the struggle is to say, okay, we cannot do much about it, but it's always about the cursor. And in the end of the day, we need to comply with the customer request. So that's it.
So similar situation to TomTom, where you have, you know, you want to be prescriptive and advise the best and greatest, both security and seamless situations, but you also have to accommodate a certain user base and support less than desirable login options if that's what they absolutely require. So interesting. So, you know, I'd say SIAM is, you know, when we think about SIAM, we primarily think of, you know, registration and login and authentication and authorization. But there's other kind of related categories of capabilities that you might consider to be part of SIAM, in which case you'd want to have like integrated solutions. I'll throw out a couple of examples of this. It might be, you know, a fraud detection capability or identity verification capability, or the ability to integrate the SIAM identity data into some central data repository that's the single source of truth for your customers. So those are just examples, but just kind of interested, and we could start with Kumar, kind of what related areas to SIAM do you feel are important?
All right. So when we started the project 4 years back, our idea was to build a customer identity and access management on the motion level so that we can onboard as much as application. And these applications varies in different categories. There are some applications which are targeting our CRM systems. There are some applications which are targeting our customers. So our idea was that we want to build a CRM system, and we want to onboard the applications. And the applications can be of different nature. So that was our ultimate goal. End of last year, we onboarded almost 50 applications in our platform. So, and apart from that, we do also have connections to our HRGT system, which is the source of truth for the internal employees. We have connections to our CRM system. We are connected to the global information system. This is the place where we can get all our customers, partners, OEMs information. So, the more the connection, you get the big picture of any user. That's the whole idea. So I won't limit the integrations, but as long as you have a very well connection established with the different data sources, yeah, that's very important.
Okay.
And at least from our side, the HR system for the internal employees, CM, of course, offers the external customers' information. And then the global information system and the CRM system, it's awesome. You can build an application. You can track down each and everything what a customer wanted from us.
That's great. Ondrej, what areas do you see when you're doing recommended deployments that are useful to integrate into the SIAM process?
Yeah, I can say because my area is cybersecurity, and we are on the side of defenders. And we can say that it makes sense to integrate your ecosystem of security tools. For instance, I can say we were able to integrate our ticketing system with CM, and furthermore with the SOAR, with a much more, for example, with open source Maze. We were able to create scenarios, how to use and move data, and of course managing access and all things. And what I want to say, I don't know if I guess that it's a public secret, but if we will push the borders of our imagination, we can see the IAM and APIM management as a future SOAR solution. Yeah, we don't need to pay extra money for another solution. We can use your products, and it is great. And we tried to go this way.
Okay. And Cedric, how about yourself? You probably have different sets of, the one set of your customers that are running their own environments might have different integrations. Just kind of, what do you see as important areas that relate to core access management functionality?
Well, in our case, what we're still trying to do is whatever who the customer is, we're still performing some kind of identity federation. So we, even if they have their own requirements, we still push them with some standards. Okay, so we basically ask them to, at minima, to have some local authentication system, and then we perform basic local from identity federation. What we don't really do here, we don't have, let's say, a full integrated CIAM solution because so far, because it's a lot of core banking satellites application who deal with their own permission system and so on. So it clearly one main bricks that we miss for the moment and pretty hard to implement will be some kind of centralized authorization solution. So that takes time because you need to establish the profile of each customers and you need to implement that on every single core banking solution. So it's not something we are currently implementing for lack of time in study and so on. But definitely, that's the main component.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a few minutes left, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk about AI somehow. So wanted to get your guys' kind of unfiltered view of AI and how relevant you think it is to the identity space. I'll start with Iain. You know, you told me that you've implemented AI for a long time because you use AI to optimize routing suggestions for the maps. So I suppose we're talking about LLMs, which is the latest and greatest stuff. So do you see that affecting, you know, your world, something that's a threat or an opportunity?
Yeah, so just very quickly, and aside from CIAM, LLMs, like in TomTom, one of the big programs we're trying to run is to be able to talk to your car. So instead of the voice instructions that you have to learn by diktat to know how to use the system, you'll be able to use natural language and say, do you know a restaurant down the street that's useful? And get responses back from the vehicle and navigate that way. Although I have to say that's not my actual work. Within CIAM, personally, and this is very personal, not TomTom, LLM's use within CIAM, I think its most important use would be in the risk management and the processing of the analysis of an individual action and its individual risk. So I think many will be aware that there are the existing systems to say, track every IP address that a user has used to log in, and if there's a new one, ask for a second factor authentication. They are very prescriptive ways of writing those rules. So if an LLM was able to capture everything, ideally that would be a more complete solution in that space to make sure that you're not missing risks that you didn't think of. An LLM would likely be able to pick those up a lot quicker.
Awesome. Cedric, I saw you nodding your head. Similar thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know where AI is going. I know what I would like to see AI becoming. I know WSO2 products, they tend to make transparent the complexity of all the security stuff to make a better life for administrators, and it's great. But still, somehow, you know, I'm an IT guy, and I like when it's kind of complex. So for this part, using the AI for predicting tool can be good to help to go faster. But what I would like it more, it's maybe, I agree for the risk, definitely can be something interesting. But mostly I would like it for maybe in what takes time and maybe a bit annoying can be the troubleshooting part. So when you're performing SSO, Identity Federation, you always have a lot of different issues, logs, and so on. And I guess it's always the same patterns, but there are plenty of them. So probably here, the AI could be extremely interesting, saying, okay, we observe those logs, don't look for it. The issue is coming here. That will help a lot.
Awesome. Ondrej, how does AI play into the future of what you're working on with identity?
Yeah, it plays a big role, of course. Yeah, so AI is for everyone. Even my mother can use it. So we know that attackers use it.
Yeah.
And we can, as defenders, we can use it too. And in the protecting or maybe getting more data about activity of attackers, we can use again the deception technology in our environment. And once the attackers touch some decoy, we can start work with them. Yeah, we can call it adversary engagement, and start it thanks to AI to start some scenarios to getting more data about attackers' intentions, because we don't know what it can, what they want, but we can monitor. It's easy to stop them, but get more things about his identity is our intention.
Nice. Kumar, why don't you close out the topic with your thoughts?
Yeah, so with AI, we in a sense, ABB has a big plans for the AI. At least initially, we would like to have the AI implemented on the security aspects. What we have today is we have the behaviors, we have the device information, we have the location information. When we all club these things, then we can even form the risk level. So first, I mean, as I said, like we are from the industry side. So it's not B2C, it's B2B. Everything goes a little bit slower. But at least if we can introduce the AI on the security level, which could also, there is also regulatory compliances, which we have to comply. So our idea is that we would like to use the AI on the security so that we can fulfilling this IEC 62443, the cyber resilience and the cyber related, certifications. So that's our initial plan. But you never know, this AI is a journey. We have to keep updating ourselves.
Yep.
To start with, yes, we are planning on the security level.
Great. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much and if you have any questions of the individuals, please do approach them. And thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.